Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from the lunch and prayer break. The theme of our next segment is Voice in Academia and Think Tanks. As you can see, Mr. Ubaid-Ur-Rehman Nizamani, the moderator for this segment, is already seated along with his panel of distinguished guests and discussants. The time for this panel, as with all other panels, is 45 minutes, and the overflow provision is also there.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our panel discussion on academia, think tanks, and science and technology. We have some very notable voices in these fields of Pakistani Americans and Pakistanis who are contributing to this field. Today's exercise is to reinforce the positivities and to highlight the very good job that many of our compatriots are doing in these fields, and also to suggest ways and means of enhancing Pakistan-United States partnership in these very important areas. Needless to say that universities and think tanks are very important to what United States of America today is. Policy formulation, critique of policy, analysis, all these things happen through these very important institutions. And before I introduce my very distinguished panelists and discussants, by way of mechanics, I would just like to inform you that it's not just the panelists and the discussants who are involved in this exercise, but also all of you as participants. We would welcome suggestions, welcome your observations, your comments, and preferably in writing. Today, even by tomorrow, and we would like to reflect those observations, those suggestions, those comments with your names in our outcome document. The panelists would be requested, they have already been requested to make brief intervention of 4 to 5 minutes each. Our discussants would also be making brief remarks and raising questions, and then we would like to have as much time as possible for the participants, for the audience to chip in and make it more interactive. My panelists today are very distinguished people. To my right is Ambassador Asif Chaudhry, the only Pakistani to have reached the position of a senior foreign service officer, who was also United States ambassador to Moldova, and somebody who is now vice president at the Washington State University in Seattle. He's done it, he continues to do a remarkable job, and we would hear from him. To my left is Moeed Yusuf. Moeed Yusuf is Associate Vice President at the U.S. Institute of Peace. Today he's with us in his private capacity as a Pakistani and as our friend. Then also Shiraz Bashir is seated to his left. He is with Nastians, doing a wonderful job encouraging Pakistanis based in Pakistan and Pakistanis based here to be more active in science and technology. My discussants are also very distinguished people. Dr. Anwar is with the Maryland Commission on Higher Education. To my left is Tariq Masaud with Citibank, and he has also very rich experience. To his left is Dr. Rashid Bhattiza. He is graduated from the College of EME and he has done a PhD, and he has done a marvelous job on supercomputers with IBM. So I would request now Ambassador Asif Chaudhry, after a remarkable career and a profitable career in diplomacy. You still have more than 7 years to go, and you decided to join the university. Why? And tell us, through this panel discussion and through such activity that we are engaging in today, how can we promote the cause of Pakistan-US partnership, a win-win partnership for the two countries?
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. That is exactly the question that came to my mind about 3.5 years ago when I was about to make that determination whether I should or should not move to the university. After coming from a place like Pakistan, going to Cadet College Hospital, Beirut, and PhD in this country, I had a career which was going really, really well. After having completed my ambassadorship, I was about to go for a second ambassadorship when something came up, and there was a true thinking which is very relevant to the discussion today. And the thinking was, should I take that second ambassadorship or take the offer from a university to go and become the lead vice president of the University for International Programs? And this is a true fact that I made the determination that I could possibly do more good for humanity if I continued my career in the university, because I learned something during my career, and that is, there's not one definition of national security that people in this country think of. Definition of national security is not meant with and linked with guns and soldiers. National security in this country is thought about as food security, energy security, environmental security. All those things are part of what is important. Universities do two things. One, they provide the opportunity to pursue those angles. And second, there is a true opportunity, regardless of what the governments might think, there is a true opportunity for people in academia, in universities, to actually build partnerships around the world. When I got to Washington State University, I learned something even more. And that is, number one, the university was focused on what they call grand challenges. Those are the things. This is a tier 1 research university, and they were focused on 5 different things. They had to do with food, water, health, creating a better environment, and broad security, national security of individual nations that will lead to global security. Imagine an institution that is focused on those things and has the linkages with places all over the world. But the second part, which I would like to highlight here, is I learned that the universities of different states play a significant role in the economic development, of the state and the country. Washington State University, for example, we have 5 campuses. We undertook a project to link all those 5 campuses, for example, with a high-speed internet. But the purpose was not to link the campuses because that was already there. But the purpose was to install that infrastructure so that communities, some of them rural communities and some Native American communities, would have access to that infrastructure for their economic development. Every discussion that takes place in the governor's office, every discussion that takes place in the Chamber of Commerce, the university is directly involved in that. What my focus is in terms of the presence in that university and what I can do for the community, Pakistani community, and in Pakistan. There are linkages that already exist between Washington State University and Pakistan, because my university has been the proponent and the supporter of establishing a couple of major universities in Pakistan. I have gone to Pakistan and tried to take this model of using the educational institutions for the economic development part of Pakistan, because I know the challenges that the country is facing, both in food security, water, energy, and all those things. So I have tried to take the model of using educational institutions, which, in spite of the fact that we have high caliber institutions and researchers in Pakistan, this thinking does not exist. How do we use the talent of those researchers and talent of those universities for the good of the people? So my goal over the next few years as the Vice President of International Programs at my university is to create those linkages with appropriate institutions in Pakistan, where there is capacity and capability, so we can transform the fate of that country and the people and their income, and transition and basically transplant the experiences of what we are seeing here in that country for the good of the country in the long run.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your very pithy intervention. Moeed, tell us about the importance of think tanks and tell us about your own journey.
Thank you. Thank you, Ubaid. My journey is very boring, so I don't want to bore anybody with that. Nor do I want to talk about what one may have achieved. What I really want to do, if you allow me, is talk to the young people in this crowd, and also to parents whose kids as Pakistani Americans are choosing careers. Before I came here, you've just mentioned the idea is to talk about the positive in the US-Pakistan relationship and how to move forward. And the one thing I would say is that there is tremendous opportunity in the think tank space for bright young minds to come and work for the betterment of policy of the United States, but also policy globally, depending on which area you select. And the reason I say that there is tremendous potential is actually a sad fact, which is that the entire think tank circuit of Washington, which is over 100 think tanks, big, small, and medium, the number of Pakistanis who are there can be counted on the finger of one hand. There's a lot of conversation about why and how and this theory and that theory. The bottom line is that I do not think this was a preferred sector for Pakistani youngsters or for the first wave of immigrants who came to the United States. And that is very telling. My journey, the only part that I've mentioned here is that I actually did not grow up in the US. So in some ways I'm not one of those who, as some of your children would have been born and bred in the US and then enter into the system of policy making. So it's a very lonely journey for me, if you will. But I would also say that the potential for people to come and make a difference is huge, especially at a time when the world is in flux. We are seeing that every single day. And at a time where the US-Pakistan relationship has gone through many troubles, and yet I think the one thing I come out with every time I have a policy conversation is that both sides recognize that a rupture in the relationship will be disastrous for peace and region. So that potential very much exists. Now, the question is, I often get young people coming to me for obvious reasons and saying, we want to get involved, but there's no place. I mean, where do we go? What do we do? And again, this is not the forum to explain how to sort of go about doing that. The two things I would say is, and this has been my sort of experience, quite frankly, you are entering this field, if you will, at a time which is not easy in terms of a conversation on US-Pakistan relations. But what I want everybody to understand is a lot of times people ask me and say, oh look, I mean there's no Pakistani, you're here, but you don't do anything for Pakistan. And the point I always explain to people is that the role of think tankers is to analyze intellectually honestly. As long as we can do that and present narratives that explain why things may be where they are and how you can improve, that's the contribution. The reason diaspora are important is not because they're going to take one line or another line on what they're going to say. It is because you are able to immerse yourself in the culture of the country of origin and explain to people in Washington DC why Pakistan may be thinking or making decisions that it is as a native. And equally, you can take your experience and your native thinking of the United States to Islamabad and explain to people why things may be happening the way they're happening. If you can bridge that gap, this is the single biggest contribution you can make as a think tanker and as an honest intellectual. This field seems very glamorous from the outside. It's not nearly as much from the inside. You've got to have a fairly thick skin, especially if you work on US-Pakistan, but that's all fine. It shouldn't deter you from coming in, testing the waters, and then working on whatever issues you feel are close to your heart. One mistake I find often youngsters make, and without any holding everybody in respect here that parents, I think, force youngsters to make when they enter this field, is that they ask them, go and work on Pakistan. And I always remind people, it is not necessary. Work on whatever issue is close to your heart. Whether it's a functional issue like poverty, like health, you could do Russia, you could do Korea. Nobody will ever question that you know Pakistan because that's where you originally have ties to. Get in the field, that's the key point. Use your intellectual space to create whatever contribution you want as Americans. And that will be good for Pakistan, that will be good for the world. I think that's sort of my key message. Just come into the field. The final thing I'll put out, especially for the youngsters, is that I have actually tried to create a young professionals working group in Washington through the auspices of the United States Institute of Peace, which is anybody who's working on Pakistan and South Asia is welcome to join. I'm also going to try and do something with students. And the embassy will know about it, other Pakistan watchers will, so if anybody is interested, please join those conversations. That's where you actually start making your connections with the policy world and seeing where things may or may not go. These things are not always known, but there's a lot of opportunity for people who are interested in the field to come, join, and understand what we do. So I welcome you all. I'm happy to talk to you afterwards as well. But Pakistanis and Pakistani Americans are grossly underrepresented in this field.
Thank you, Moeed. Shiraz introduce Nastians to us. Tell us what are they doing. And before we came on stage, you persistently mentioned focused recommendations. What are those focused recommendations in the field of science and technology, especially engineering?
Thank you, Shiraz Bashir, President of Nastians US Chapter. Nastian globally has 30,000 members, all professionals in various disciplines. We just got Nastian US Chapter incorporated as a non-profit in the United States, in the state of Arizona, and we are following up with other states. Our core focus is always on taking the student from as early as possible. The moment he reports into the college, because they're coming from the various areas. Like myself from Kashmir, I looked at 94, and I came to the college, I didn't understand what to do, but I was helping on my imagination. So we start coaching them from them, and then when they reach United States, we provide them further coaching so that they can get better jobs, better internships, and also if they need any financial support to do that. So last year we sponsored a summer internship for a final year student at Rutgers in collaboration with our own doctor. And that student just has admission offered from 5 PhD universities, fully funded PhDs in the United States and few other countries. So that's an example of how we are enabling Pakistani students to come to the United States, understand how the environment is, and then give back to the community. We are also focusing on what we call NUS Fund, which is Need Blind Initiative. If you get an admission in a NUS, then alumni and the NUS will cover your tuition fee throughout that. So 68% of the students, they need either partial or full scholarship. So that's one of the other focus from the Nastian chapter. Coming to the United States, we are actively working to provide the internships and the jobs to the students. There's a big gap right now due to ongoing political environment. Many employers are refusing to hire students which are on a specific visa, which we call OPT and EAD. So we are trying to reach out to other senior alumni like NED, Abdalians, and UAD so that they can be placed to do that. Coming to the question around what are the top 3 recommendations. Big recommendation we are trying to mobilize is that enable collaboration between Pakistani research centers which are government funded. For example, right now at the NUS and EME college there is a center, government sponsored, Dr. Asif was just sponsored that for AI and robotics. And there is a cybersecurity one at Yale University. We want American collaboration with them very frequently so that the knowledge can be transferred beyond the borders. That's one major suggestion. Other is like a program called Leader in Residence. Like some of us can go back, stay there at university for a shorter or longer period, as a sabbatical, and immerse in the local faculty, student, and culture, and inform them how work and research and technology is looked at in the United States. So these are the few requirements and recommendations from our side.
Tariq Masaud, in addition to being an accomplished banker, you're also on the faculty of Institute of Bankers in Nigeria, and you have heard our three distinguished panelists. Tell us what you think about it.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. There's something that Moeed mentioned here. When I look at the landscape today in Pakistan, I find it's distinctly different from when I went to the university about 25 years back. There were about, I think, less than 40 universities in the country. Now, if you look at the degree awarding programs or institutions and the total number of universities, these are in excess of 180 such institutions in the country. The statistics also point towards a very large number of research papers and PhD programs or PhD students enrolled in Pakistan universities. Today, what the country produces in a year is what the country produced in the first 50 years of its independence. Now, this gives me a lot of optimism that there will be, the numbers are there, and obviously, there is a question getting asked in terms of the quality of that product, and there seems to be a certain gap between what expectation is and what is getting produced, but the gap is going to get narrower and narrower. What fascinates me is, on the supply side, there's a very large correction that has taken place in the last few years, and similarly, on another front is the country has more than 60 million kids currently who are school-going age, or perhaps more. There is a social dilemma in terms of the social goals that we have, the millennial goals that we have to achieve, in terms of the kids who are out of the school, in terms of the health situation. There has to be eventually a lot more focus of multilaterals to shift their focus and shift their priorities in terms of bringing that very large mass up. And that's a collective, a collaborative approach. What I find fascinating though is that the number of researchers who still get an opportunity to kind of cooperate with the Western institutions continues to remain very limited, despite the fact that there we have some exceptional institutions which have been developed in the country in the last few years. So, this is sort of pointing out, in terms of my optimism that I see on the supply side there is a paradigm shift. But on the other side, what you're pointing towards is you don't see that shift translating into a larger number of people moving to the US and more cooperation. To both Dr. Asif and to Moeed, Dr. Moeed, the question basically is, why so? This is not a 6-month phenomenon. This has been going on for the last 10, 15 years. And we still do not see a major initiative. What is lacking?
I think what they put the question, so I would now request Anwar Hassan, you have had a singular focus on higher education for more than a decade now, and continue to do well in the private sector also. Tell us, how you managed to do that.
So, Assalamu alaikum. The key, I just want to give a little bit of introduction of Maryland Higher Education Commission. I mean, our portfolio is pretty broad. There's about 29 public colleges and universities, 16 community colleges, 15 non-profit private colleges and universities, including Johns Hopkins. And then we have 125 career schools. And higher education gave almost $400 million every year in loans and grants and scholarships to about 60,000 students in the state of Maryland. The focus of Maryland Higher Education Commission is to regulate the universities and colleges. And when Tariq talked about the programs, duplications, it's something we take it very seriously. I mean, we do not allow, if one university has a program, unless there's a need, we do a supply and demand thing before you say, go ahead and have this program. So there's a rigorous review and check on programs. Our focus is more access to the students who can get into the higher, including the affordability. The bigger focus is innovation, how we can reduce cost and time for those students so they can get through their 4-year program faster, and the success. I mean, graduation rate is so critical because if you know about the student debt in the country, it's about $1.4 trillion. And now if you add the opportunity cost to it, which delays in getting the graduation, you add another $600 billion. So you're almost like $2 trillion of debt the students carry in this country. So we have done several programs. One of the big programs which I like the most and good for the students who are in high school right now is called the DUAL program, where the high school student can take that course in their school when they're in high school, and as they go into the colleges, they get the credit for those courses, and this reduces the cost and the time. And there's some reverse transfer credit which we started. If somebody goes to 4 years and come back to 2 years, the community college, they can do it, and their credits are counted in the state of Maryland. So the message to the students who are sitting in here, and I agree with Moeed, is not about what we do, it's more about what the students can benefit from the options which are available in the state of Maryland. And one of the things which I suggest to the students in the high school, maximum take college credit courses, so that allows you to reduce your debts, and at the same time get a mentor and focus on 2 or 3 options, career you want to take, and start narrowing it down with some experience you get on it. And so those are some of those things. If you do it in your high school, you will be more focused when you come out and go into the college education. And then from there, in my opinion, college education, try and get the right experience. And the right experience is really key. Focus on getting an in-state college to go to for your bachelor degree because you want to reduce your cost. You're paying less tuition there. But more importantly, you can now finish your program faster and then get the right experience. Be creative when you're writing your essays for the internship. Getting the internship is, somebody was saying that in Under Armour, there's about 25,000 applications comes from various students for Under Armour. So if you want to get into the Under Armour, how would you get yourself to stand out in there? So things, you have to be creative. You need to make sure you have opportunities there to get some right experience, because when we interview people or students for the job, we don't look at what college they really graduated from. We look at what kind of experience they have. So that, to me, is a message to the students up here, that this will benefit you a long way. And be focused. Get your degree done first, the bachelor. Do not focus on getting the master right away. Do your experience. Get some experience. Decide what is the best for you profession-wise. Then invest your money on the master's degree. So that's my suggestion. I wish we can have same kind of replication in Pakistan too, with some kind of regulation when it comes to higher education, because that is the engine of jobs, which we want.
Thank you very much, Rashid Bhattiza. You're doing a wonderful job with IBM, working on supercomputers. You have also taught at USC. Tell us how the research in technologies is translated into business, and what are the opportunities for our youth, and also raise relevant questions for our panelists.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk at this forum. I would like to correlate all the questions that have been raised by the panelists so far, and it seems like everything is coming back into its place when I actually look into my notes and the questions that have been raised. Tariq Masaud said that, what is the reason that this huge number of universities, a lot of PhD programs and a lot of master's programs are coming up every day, and it is not being translated to the progress. And I would say that that's not completely true. This is what happened when we, a few years, like 10 or 15 years ago, when we just thought that maybe we have to have more universities and produce a lot of master's and PhD students. Our skills and our staff, our resources were not actually ready to do that. And we just said we were going to just do it, whatever we do it. And we did not worry about the quality at that time. But over the time, the quality is improving. It is not true that it's not translating into the real future. We are looking into all these kinds of bridging the gap, how we can actually bring the high school students straight into the university. We are looking how we can bridge the gap between the university student to the job market. And as for the future technologies are concerned, we are living into the future now. So all those future technologies that we used to call future technologies are here already. So I see this thing that Pakistan is taking a two-pronged approach. There are two parts. One is the part of the future technologies that are already here. The entering the band gap, the energy, the threshold you need to get into that technology is lower. So those are the technologies which are contemporary industrial technologies. That includes cloud computing, cloud technologies, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and in IBM we call it Watson, mobile technologies and Internet of Things, analytics, and security, like blockchain. So these are the technologies that does not require a lot of momentum, a lot of effort. Our students, our universities are gearing up toward that immediately now. We are just taking on to those as we are talking. The second side is the research and the real future technologies. And those are the technologies that requires a little bit more effort. The entry point is a little hard. And that is where our research institutions, our universities need to just go ahead and collaborate with universities in the United States, and our students who are working in those programs here, they need to just collaborate with our universities, and people like us who actually have exposure to those technologies can actually collaborate with our universities. And these are the technologies like quantum computing. It's not here yet, but we envision it's going to be there. And like edge computing and fog computing, which has already started, but not hit to the market yet. Virtual realities and augmented realities. Theoretically it is present, but there is no good practical use of these technologies because it requires some sort of more effort to get into bring it to the market. Clean and renewable energy, health technology, material sciences, and robotics, 3D printing. These are all the technologies that they have their theoretical basis, they're doable, but requires a little bit more effort, more energy, more money, more resources, more skill set to get in there. And inshallah, we are going to be there. And since I'm representing the alumni organization of NUST, named Nustian, Shiraz is our vice president, I would like to say a few words on our current focus is in line with the comments that I just made. That what we are trying to do is that we are encouraging and engaging to help our youth to get into the contemporary technologies immediately by helping them getting into jobs, trying to get them scholarship. And on the other side, as for the research areas, we are thinking, and we have think tanks that are working with the researchers in Pakistan and researchers in the United States and trying to bridge the gap in the fields of technologies like robotics, artificial intelligence, computer vision, entrepreneurship, design thinking, of these kinds.
Thank you. Now, before I request my panelists to respond to some of the questions that have been raised here and a couple of my own questions that I have on my mind, I would request Umar, who is representing our youth on this panel as a discussant here, to ask the first question. Not the observation, but the first question. Thank you.
Is there space for American students in Pakistan at NUST, for example? That would be one of my questions.
So
thank you.
The question is there any space for American students of Pakistani origin or others in NUST? Yeah, that is just like we in Pakistan want to come to the United States for many reasons. You can always apply there. Why? Education will be very cost effective. It's just $6,000 just to start, right? And more importantly, when we start saying what would qualify So Dr. Yasser Yaz is heading the Artificial Intelligence Center, which Dr. Asif Chaudhry is a world class. He is a highly credentialed person, and you can match him to any person in the world in a particular AI domain. Same thing we can call for robotics, we can call for cybersecurity. So yes, there's definitely a space for that. In addition to this, I will talk a little bit more about the startup culture witnessed and alumni enabling, which final year students, our projects used to be 90 very benign, useless projects, we wasted so much time, but now those are becoming ripe ideas for business. So there's a business called Shiraz Bashir right now, which looks at the apricot from the Gilgit area. So Pakistan is the 6th largest apricot producer, 120,000 tons. They are looking at multiple areas to improve the apricot business by bringing the supply chain experience from the corporates. They're working with Del Monte in the United States, the big food handlers. So right now they have already raised 0.1 million and they are asking for more money.
So I would suggest that, if there are details, I think that better if you do that later. And I now request the ambassador to make his intervention on the topic.
Thank you. I think if I can put my 2 cents into it, apart from what the founding fathers of this country did in terms of putting together a set of values and a constitution, which is the biggest source of strength of this country, there are a number of other areas of strength in this society, one of which is universities, American universities. I think they are the harbingers of the new ideas that they come out, and then they link up to the industry and produce the miracle of technology that the United States has produced. So therefore, when we thought of this idea, we thought that maybe we should also review how many Pakistani Americans are participating in American universities. I know that thousands of Pakistani universities, probably hundreds of thousands of Pakistanis have come to the United States, to their universities and returned home and are contributing to the national life. In Pakistan also there has been a plethora of universities, as somebody was mentioning. And the question that I think Mr. Tariq Masaud had asked was, why is it that there is a gap between the rise of so many universities and actual research being produced or linkages here being felt? I think that is the idea. Because what I have seen, Mr. Masood, is that there are so many Pakistani Americans who are doing wonderfully appreciable work that in various universities, but they are not connected to each other. They don't know really who is doing what. That is the idea to connect them, and that's why we have this being connected in dots. Very few people who know that Ambassador Asif Chaudhry is a vice president in Washington State University. Very few people who know that Wasilat Khan is running an East West University in Chicago area. So on and so forth. We want to bring them all together, and you can then serve as an inspiration for many other youngsters who must join that. A word or two about the think tanks. We spoke about it. The importance of think tanks cannot be underemphasized. I must say that when the United States announced recently its national security strategy in December, and then later on, a month later, national defense strategy, many people thought that where has this whole idea come out from? But those of us who have been following the think tank activity and the academic activity, they knew that this was already being talked about in the think tank circles, and therefore the think tanks have a very prominent role in influencing the policy. And that's not true only here. I mean, probably it will be true everywhere. That's why there's a mushroom growth of think tanks in Pakistan as well. In Islam, in the last 10 years, I've seen a lot of think tanks coming up. But here in the US, because they play a very prominent role in influencing the policy, not that everything that is produced by think tanks ends up as policy, no. But they do influence the process. And many of them, their model of governance is different from ours, where they serve in the executive and then come back in the think tank committee and then re-energize them or enrich themselves further and then go back. So I think that's why it is important for Pakistani Americans youngsters to take cue from what Moeed was saying, that you need to have your voice felt here. So this whole particular segment was intended to send out this message that academia is important, think tanks are important. If you want to really make your mark in this society, in this country, this is the place to start.
I may just add a couple of things. There must be something unique about having the name Ambassador Chaudhry. Because we were thinking along the same lines exactly, and in fact I wrote down one thing, which is practicality. Both in terms of think tanks and the universities. It's all about being practical. I'll give you an example. I'll leave it to Dr. Moeed Yusuf to talk about the think tanks, but I'll give you a couple of examples in the education world. Most of the major universities in this country have started to think, how can we prepare our students, whether undergraduate or graduate, that when they leave the universities, they are able to navigate the world. Everything is so interconnected that we need to prepare students who can be successful in today's world, and for that reason, they're trying to expose their students and provide them touch points with the rest of the world, either by sending them on study abroad programs or bringing more diversity to their campuses. Second, there is a push for a true inclusion of research at the undergraduate level. Third, the link between industry and the university is so significant that my university, which is one of the big universities in the country, tier 1 research place, only less than half of the funding comes from tuition and from state. The rest of the funding comes from the industry. Industry folks, they come to us and say, here is a problem we need a solution to. And those solutions are actually found by these young researchers, some at the undergraduate level, some at the master's or PhD level. The final example that I want to give and close is, we have a major corporation which is based right about 5 miles from the university. They were looking at a huge issue which is considering what's happening in Pakistan in terms of energy. Their huge issue was that when there was electrical fluctuation, there was a blip of 16 milliseconds in terms of the loss of power for 60 milliseconds. They spent millions of dollars working with the university to find a solution, and they have reduced that to 2 milliseconds, which is negligible. So this connection between the industry and universities and true commercialization, I think that is what would answer the question that if there's that kind of commercialization going on in Pakistan as well, where they have great researchers, you will find better partners and there'll be more linkages.
Just 3 quick things to answer your question, but the general thing the ambassador also brought it up. The first thing I'll say is, as diaspora, you're always or often asked this question, especially when you work on a relationship that has its ups and downs, like US-Pakistan. Are you more Pakistani or American? And since there are a number of youngsters in this room, I wanted to put this on the table to say that you do not have to answer that question. In the field that we are talking about, my number one sort of advice to everybody, and what I've tried to do and probably failed more often than not, is let your speaking and writing explain who you are, not what you look like and where you come from. If you get that right, I can promise you that the American system is mature enough and receptive enough to give you space to continue doing that. Don't try hard to tell people you are no longer Pakistani or no longer American or whatever it is. Just let your work speak and you will find space. That's one. But, I wish I could do that myself. The second thing I wanted to say is that there is a tragedy in the field that I work in on Pakistan-US relations. And I think that needs to be understood. I think one of the biggest losses was that since 9/11, the Fulbright program that the US has had and has produced number of brilliant people only became a one-way street. So Pakistanis were coming to the US, but the US scholars were unable to go to Pakistan, and it's been 2 decades. That gap has created one problem that people have to grapple with, and all of us, and the US government. I talk too often about this. There are no programs left in the political space, in the space that I operate, that study Pakistan. There are programs that study nuclear weapons, and Pakistan is a case study. There are programs that study terrorism, and Pakistan is a case study, and you can add others. We need to bring back Pakistan studies for the betterment of the US-Pakistan relationship. The chairs that used to exist studying the country and the relationship as a whole will be most beneficial beneficial to both sides if we can manage that, and none exist right now. Thank you.